10,000 of the inhabitants of Kondorra. It was not a period in her life she would necessarily describe as successful. And yet, they all waited. They all wanted to know what the world's leading thaumaturbiologist and expert on dragons would say. She wondered if any of them had actually read her papers, had attended her lectures. She could not imagine the Chancellor of the Exchequer really getting to grips with the inner workings of Varanus Draconis's digestive tract. He was having enough trouble getting anything other than alcohol into his own. On such things, she thought, the fate of nations fall. The specific matter the king was referencing was the death of a white hart at the hands of several of his huntsmen. The hart had wandered from the forests of the Vale, which the elven court claimed as their own, and into the path of the several huntsmen looking for boar in the emperor's abutting forest. Not being the sort of men to question Providence when it stood in the way of a full purse, the huntsman promptly shot the hart, skinned it, and sold the hide for a profit that would make even a city merchant blush. Which was all well and good until the elven king delivered a message stating that the hart was his sovereign property, that the huntsmen were thieves, and that unless they were handed over to him for execution, the consequences would be dire. Well, that was if she paraphrased the specifics of the elven dialect. More directly, the message had read, "So-called Emperor of the so-called Empire of Tamar, give me the round ears who stole my heart, or I shall come and fuck you. His highest eminence, master of the bowstring, slayer of the round ears, commander of the Vale forces, fine-aspected Todger the Fourth." "Well," Quirk said, as delicately as it was possible to, "given the tone and content of the letter, I do not honestly believe that King—" She hesitated. "Todger," she managed as gracefully as she could, "should be entertained in this manner, and furthermore, I do not believe that he can necessarily follow up on his threat to, she hesitated over this one, to violate you." "So, screw him," said one of the nobles, and brayed with laughter. Several others followed suit. There was much stamping of feet and pounding of golden goblets on the red velvet tablecloth. Quirk winced, and not just because she was being reminded of the red velvet tablecloth. Sometime she really did need to speak to the Emperor about that particular detail. She raised a delicate finger to indicate that she was not quite done. "However," she said, but no one was listening any more. The Emperor coughed loudly. All noise stopped. All attention returned to the richest, most powerful man in the room. He glared around at them, then looked back to Quirk.
"You were saying?"
he said. Small he might be, but it was rumoured that the Emperor had personally throttled 2 assassins after they had killed the rest of his personal guard. "However," Quirk said again, "there doesn't seem to be much point in purposelessly angering King Todger, and while he cannot violate anyone here, his forces can certainly make things difficult for your border patrols, and nobody wants to actually go to war with the elves."
"I wouldn't mind,"
said one lord, who then seemed to realize people could hear him.
"Truly, Lord Elshared?"
said the Emperor. He had a harsh, nasal voice.
"You would like to take your cavalry into thick forest and have arrows rain down upon you while you chased men who disappeared like ghosts among the branches?"
Lord Elshared appeared to vacillate momentarily between whether he should capitulate to his lord's greater wisdom, or if he should attempt to preserve face in front of his peers. He chose wrong.
"We should burn the place down around their ears,"
he said defiantly. There was more pounding of goblets. The Emperor rolled his eyes. Quirk smiled at him. A question about fire she could answer. "Have you ever tried to burn living wood, Lord Elshared?" she asked. "To be honest, I doubt you've even tried to burn dry wood. You have people to do that for you, after all.